All right, good morning. Here, if you just read these do now questions, pause the video for a moment, and then come back to see if you got them correct. So, the first question: what are the three things you could do to prepare for an earthquake to keep yourself safe? Well, there's a few things that we talked about on Friday. One, to prepare your house, make the building more stronger, more flexible. Um, You want to bolt the bookcases, the dressers to the walls. That way, in case an earthquake does happen, those things don't tumble down on top of you, causing injury. Um, Prepare an earthquake kit, preparedness kit. So, bottled water, canned food, batteries, flashlights, candles, anything you would prepare for a hurricane. You would keep that in the same things in the kit. If you're caught in a earthquake, you want to crouch against an inner wall. Um, you want to go under a table if you have one nearby, a strong table. You can also drop, cover, and then hold the back of your neck to protect yourself from brain and spinal cord injuries. All right. And then the second question is, what is a fault? And a fault is a break in Earth's crust where two rocks slip past one another. So that's a transform boundary is where you would find a fault. And you have one, the San Andreas Fault in California. And as a result of these movements at the fault, that's what produces your earthquakes. So we only have one slide of notes left. And then I'm going to discuss the lab with you. That way you can get started on that. All right. So a volcano is where plates slide and move apart from each other at a plate boundary. The opening allows magma from the mantle to move up through the crust and reach the surface. So again, we have volcanoes on the west coast of the United States, Washington, Oregon, and the reason is you have the collision between this Pacific plate and the North American plate. And remember that the oceanic plate, the rock is more dense, so it slips down underneath the continental crust into the mantle. Now, where you have an interaction like this, it produces volcanoes. Now, again, reminder of the ring of fire that we talked about when we did continental drift. That's basically the whole entire plate boundary, the Pacific plate. This is where you find most of the world's volcanoes is along the Pacific plate. That's why they do call it the Ring of Fire. All right, so as for today's assignment, so this is also posted. It's called the Earthquake Lab, and it's going to take you to this website, techengineering.org/livinglabs/earthquakes. And you're going to be asked to do a variety of things. One of the first things you're going to do, it tells you to click on Chile right here. So just click on that. Whoops, there it goes. All right. So the next step is that this is where you're going to go next. Where did earthquakes occur this week? How many? How big were they? So all you do is click to learn. And it's going to bring you to the United States Geological Survey where the earthquakes. So these earthquakes, the most recent one being at top, the least recent being at the bottom. This is listing 40 earthquakes. So the most recent one was a 3.5 magnitude, and that was a little east-northeast of Hawaii. So if you want to see exactly where that was, just click on it, and it's going to bring you there. And then you can click on the dot to see how it highlights it in that area. Okay? All right, so some of the questions that you're going to be asked on this lab are going to be based on this data here. It's going to ask you which earthquake was the strongest. All right, well, you slide down, you see a 5.0 right here. So far, that's the highest number. I'll keep scrolling down, and that was it. So I would record that as being the strongest earthquake at a 5.0. All right, and when you click on it, it's over by the Solomon Islands. you're going to be asked how many earthquakes occurred in the last hour. As you see from the sort box here, the newest is always going to be first. So this is the most recent one. And this one happened this morning at 6:47 a.m. All right, so basically that's a preview of how to navigate the website. They're going to mention to click on a stack of papers later in here, which is up here, top here. And you want to do the overlay, so you want to do plate boundaries. And you're going to end up, the lab's going to tell you to click US faults. Good, so you close that. If you go back to the United States, let's click on California here. These red lines are all the fault lines. So the major one here being the San Andreas fault, you see it, and you see right here, you had an earthquake right on top of the zone. But you also have a lot of mini faults that extend outwards. They're very small, but they do create seismic activity, as you can see here, and you have one up here. But your major fault, again, is the one that is a solid red line here. So if you have any questions about the lab, just feel free to contact me through Google Classroom or email me, and then I'd be more than happy to answer your questions.